Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and the battle for the 21-week EMA. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So, as you guys know, we've been talking about the bull market support band forever. And the first thing when dealing with the bull market support band in a downtrend is after that downtrend occurs, the 21-week EMA will come up first, okay? And the reason why, when you get a relief rally, the reason why is because the 21-week EMA reacts quicker than the 20-week SMA does, because the exponential moving average weights more recent prices heavier than prices that are from longer ago. Therefore, naturally, it comes down quicker to where the current prices are. So we have had, at the very least, we have had a relief rally, okay? And so far, it has taken us to a very modest 42K or so. Now, it also happens to correspond with the bull market support band, at least the lower bound of the bull market support band. Again, the bull market support band is the 20-week SMA, the 21-week EMA, and the 21-week EMA right now is 39.4K, which we're only about $500 below, the 20-week SMA being $43,591. So these are the lines in the sand. Now, a lot of times when you see these sort of moves, you want to see the close above the 21-week EMA, right? You don't just want to see one close above it and then we just immediately get rejected, because that would actually look pretty weak. Ideally, what we would see, if you want to see a resumption or a potential resumption of any type of major macro bull market, you want to first see us at least put in some strength here and show that, hey, we can actually go above the 21-week EMA and not only close above it, but we can open the following week and then close above it as well. And I mean, if we do that, then there's a good chance we're pretty quickly going to test the 20-week SMA. Remember, I told you guys when we were over here and in this downtrend, you know, it's only a matter of time before we have this rally and go up and test the bull market support band, right? We knew it was only a matter of time. You know, at some point, you can't keep the price of Bitcoin down for so long before it's eventually going to test it. I mean, no matter where you are in the market, we eventually test it. Even when you get massive pullbacks, like the one we had in November, you still test it within a few months, right? And then when you had the March capitulation, you still tested it a month or two later. So we know that when we get these pullbacks below the 20-week SMA, eventually we have to test it. And one of the reasons that we expect these sort of recoils is, you know, we would expect the price of Bitcoin to generally trend up with time. Therefore, over the long haul, there's going to be more buying pressure than selling pressure. Now, the question becomes now, are there going to be too many sellers looking to get out at this region? Okay, because the problem when it comes to getting back above the bull market support band, like we've seen before, and we've seen some failed rallies in the past, like this one here and this one here, the problem is that there can be sellers that got trapped. Okay, so maybe they bought Bitcoin over here, or maybe they bought Bitcoin over here, and then it dropped down really quickly, and then they just sort of waited for a rally in order to, you know, to maybe take some profits. So the ultimate question will be in the short term is, well, does Bitcoin on this rally, does it actually have enough strength to get above the bull market support band? Because remember, we always said a relief rally will come at some point, and now looking at it, we can say, well, I mean, it came when the daily RSI trend broke, okay? It came when the downtrend on our daily RSI broke. That is when the relief rally finally came. And now that we have the relief rally, the question is, are there going to be too many sellers in this bull market support band to sort of just go ahead and exit their positions? Now, the way that I think is probably worth navigating markets like this is to recognize opportunity when it comes, okay? Now, I've been around Bitcoin a long time, and sometimes it gives you the opportunities, sometimes it doesn't, right? I mean, sometimes the opportunities present themselves and other times they don't. For instance, back over here when we were trading at, you know, at 9K, 10K and whatnot, it's completely possible. I mean, you know, I would say there exists a universe in the multiverse where maybe we didn't have this drop, and you know, maybe it just looks something like this, and then ultimately we trended up with time. However, you could make the argument that it was this type of drop and capitulation that fueled what came next. So what that means is if Bitcoin gets rejected hard off the bull market support band and it goes back down, that represents opportunity. Okay, so a lot of times people spend so much time predicting what's going to happen in the short term, and they put a lot of thought into it. They change their prediction every other week, and then they claim they were right. But what's more important is really how you react to what happens in the market, right? It doesn't matter what happens, it's how you react to what happens. So it's a lot of like, if you're a computer programmer, it's just a lot of if-then statements, right? So for instance, if it drops, then you buy a lot. If it goes up, then you sell, like you take profits. So that's ultimately where we are, I think, in Bitcoin. Generally speaking, over the long haul is, you know, if we get rejected from the bull market support band and we come down, then that would, from my understanding, I guess I should say, if that happens, then for me, it would represent an opportunity, not anything other than an opportunity. And if it goes up and breaks it and tests it as support and holds it, it still represents opportunity, because then we're pretty sure at that point that it's likely going to trend up and probably put in new all-time highs. So whatever happens, it's just an opportunity, right? I mean, if you buy Bitcoin, like imagine it goes above the bull market support band, comes back down, holds it as support at 43K or something, and you buy it there when it's holding it as support, and then it goes up to 120K or something, and you do like a 3x on your investment, like you're still making money. It's all about the relative move. If on the other hand it gets rejected and comes back down and maybe puts in a lower low or something, it still represents opportunity. I would argue that it represents a better opportunity. So ultimately speaking, it's not about predicting what will happen in the short term. It's just a matter of coming up with a plan and then just sticking with it, right? And just sticking with it throughout. So one of the things we did talk about was, well, if we do get rejected off of this level, which by the way, if you guys watched the video from earlier today, we talked about, 42K being kind of an area to watch. Also, it generally being part of this, potential downtrend, and also, this uptrend that we were in sort of all coincided at the same spot. We've come off of it now, and we've printed 3 daily candles in a row that are red. We're in our 4th, okay? To me, this seems somewhat natural. I mean, I think Ethereum's going to more or less follow suit. I mean, Ethereum's put in like 13 daily green candles in a row. My guess is that's going to get rolled back at some point in the not so distant future, because stuff like that just isn't going to be sustainable every single day forever. But if you look at say like the 50-day and the 100-day, you can note that we are in fact now below the 100-day SMA, and the 50-day, just so you know, is around 35K. So in the event of a sustained dump below say 38K, 37K, I'd maybe look out for 35K, because that's, I mean, I know a lot of people think that's, where a potential dip could come. And we've also held the 50-day as support many times in the past. So that might be an area to look out for in the event that this is the beginning of a momentum shift, okay? We always talk about these momentum shifts in the market. And one thing you would like to see at the very least is it's a higher low, okay? I mean, we kept putting in all these moves over here, but more or less the trend was generally down, right? You just can see the trend was generally down. We were spending more time at some of these lower levels later on. Over here, the question now becomes, are we changing the momentum in the market, right? I mean, for a long time it was up and then sideways, and then it became down, and then down but not as quickly. And then now, if we are switching up the momentum of the market, what you would like to see is a higher low. And what that means is that, wherever it comes down to, whether it's here or later, can it actually put in a higher low and change that momentum in the market? And that would be something to look forward to, because if it does do that, if it does put in like a higher low and fails to break through 42K right now, or the bull market support band, then putting in a higher low might actually provide a bit more confidence that would be needed to then come up and blast through the 20-week SMA. So that's just something of course to keep in mind. I think that'll wrap it up for the video. If you guys like the content, remember we do have the premium list sale. You can find a link to that in the description below. Thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.